Are you guys synced? Are you guys? Are you guys?
I am ready.
I'm ready.
Let me do this.
I'm ready.
This
I'm
intro
ready.
then.
I'm
Are you
ready.
brought like a certain niece and uncle? Sorry, I mean not niece. Nephew and aunt.
What nephew and aunt are you? Never mind. I'm not gonna ask.
Kylo and Ray.
There we go. Ah.
Why am I on the same wavelength as both of you?
We're all-
How are you on the same wavelength as
bonded.
both of them? That's like being psychologically superimposed.
Okay, so now I watch those like Star Wars Moto videos. There's a small tangent. Just basically, someone made a thumbnail. I don't know who did it, but it's basically being like, oh, what if Obi-Wan knew about officially about his marriage with Padme? And I was like, oh, actually, but the thumbnail was like all three of them, really close together, faces up, smushed against the screen, and just Anakin with a little, just saying, I'm married, master, just like a dot. And just all you can imagine is all really close. So he just whispers that in his ear. I'm married, master.
I'm married, master.
Just passionate to his ear. He's just like, what the fuck?
What? He was gonna blow up the ship. I'm
What?
master.
It's caressing his cheek.
Josh, I know exactly what episode you just referenced. Man, that was the sassiest we ever saw Obi-Wan, and I loved it.
It's one of my favorite Anakin Skywalker lines.
Yeah. We need to just get this started.
Alright.
Can we just skip the intro and just get into it?
Intro is
Break for impact.
Anakin
We're just gonna
caressing
start.
Obi-Wan's
My
cheek.
hero, Shigaraki. Last episode traumatizing. Star Wars, apparently. Let's get into it.
You know, it's funny. He said that episode was traumatizing.
Oh,
The storm yet, is all I'm gonna say.
Please tell me. Save me.
Is no one gonna help?
okay. To be fair, even though they don't know it, it was good that they didn't help him. Because
Hi there.
if he touched
Are you
them,
okay? What's the matter, honey? I'm sure a hero or a police officer will be here soon. You'll see.
what is it? The bystander effect?
It's priority over a lost kid
Exactly that.
wandering the street.
There's a hole in his hand.
And you'll suffer an agonizing life alone.
So does the itching happen out of
ethics? These are concepts created
Stress.
by humanity.
stress,
Hatred.
or is
People who
it
wanted
negative
the world
emotion?
to run smoothly.
is it his quirk that makes him
Don't be
itching
held
and like
back by
releasing
that.
the
Do not
itch is
be
using his
afraid.
quirk, or is
What's
the
inside
itch
of
like a
you is
psychological
more
thing that he
important
has?
than anything
Pretty
else.
sure it's psychological.
Alright.
Now tell me, I will personally cultivate his new identity. He will be the symbol of fear that craves destruction.
Yeah.
Already, he
So
has
this is him
taken the first
subconsciously
grand step
controlling his
toward
quirk?
greatness.
I'd prefer the dust.
Tomura Shigaraki.
Mm.
Every time we see All For One, I love him more and more.
Shigaraki.
Mm-hmm.
From Tomura, a verb that means to mourn.
Hmm.
Tenko Shimura is no more. You are the one who will cause this world to grieve.
What about Shigaraki?
My last name, of course.
Hmm.
Oh.
I killed father because I wanted to.
His hand is
Watching
jacked up
mother
now,
and the
just like
others crumble
Deku's.
away
Mm-hmm.
made my heart lighter. I just want the League to live however we want to.
Oh.
These are no longer necessary.
Symbol of him growing.
Mm-hmm.
Me too, buddy. Me too.
Yeah.
Doing this.
He's disintegrating stress.
If I destroy your power before you finish the punch, it's harmless.
Ah.
Oh.
In the end, you're just big. That's all.
He really is like Deku now.
I understand how fun it is to destroy something you hate, but that's not happening here.
He's talking with a lot more confidence. Oh, that's not good.
No.
Oh.
He has armor.
Of course he does.
Ah, per the platypus. I will activate my power upinator.
Someone's holding you back, Re-Destro.
I will go even further beyond.
Stress and power receding.
He's de-stressing him?
Generations we have lived in hiding.
Oh.
150%!
Oh yeah.
He turned Bob into a metal mech suit.
Oh.
Super Spurs, what have you become?
can't believe I made you worry.
Ironically enough, that's actually a good thing.
Yep.
Make him worry, make him stressed.
This is ridiculous.
Bob, no!
Remind me to mention Speedball when we're done with this.
Speedball?
Speedball.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he expected, but yeah.
Oh, I guess
know, right?
at the very least it gives him an extra layer.
If you can meld both hate and joy in your heart, then you will be free.
Oh god.
Oh man. He's destroying the whole city! Gigantomachia is speechless.
Yep.
Destroy it all.
Oh, he got an upgrade. His hair color changed.
Yep.
Dr.
He's got
Doofenshmirtz,
Super
run!
Oh no.
Dr. Doofenshmirtz!
Bob!
Oh
I'm gone.
my god. I think I found out what happened to the city.
That's
wasn't,
right. We were wondering that at one point.
it wasn't even the whole battle. It was only Shigaraki.
Yep.
Oh wait, not him.
Gigantomachia is like, what am I even here?
It's the screenshot.
Oh my god. I've seen that screenshot actually.
It's gonna come up right now.
It's
Feet
Deku.
touch the ground. All right, it's because you made us come out here.
Is this
Parody.
screenshot? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
We took
Take
the
this
L.
L.
Pointless.
We took
We will-
the L.
We will take this L.
The one who should be at the forefront of liberation, the one who will create the world you dreamed of, is a person who embodies freedom.
Aaron.
This young man laughed off our history and bloodline. I'm ready to sacrifice myself for Destro's dying wish. The
Dang.
Liberation Army is now under your command.
You're the CEO of Detnerad, right? Which means that you're rich.
Oh. And the League got an upgrade.
Eventually, all 20 members of the criminal group were killed. The heroes closed the case.
What a cover-up.
Some said the untrained civilians did more harm than good by using their quirks to fight against the threats.
That's not good for the
The
Liberation
world at large
group.
couldn't stop talking about the heroism of the residents.
And that is good for the... Okay. Double-edged sword.
Unfortunately, the incident left behind many mysteries.
Toga, please forgive me. But
She's
if you
not
hadn't shared
dead.
your blood with Toga,
Why does he have
Oh.
a picture of her bloody dump?
Please stop babbling.
That's the
about it.
clone
I'm
that
still alive and
died.
You're creeping me out.
Oh.
So,
Yeah,
like, that's
but
his
stop doing what
shrine
other people
to
don't
the
like.
clone
My leg's moving on its
Toga.
own.
Thank you for coming, Liberation Warriors.
Jeez, look at him.
I am
He's just...
It is
Such a
pleasure
big
to
circle
serve.
around him.
Today, the Meta Liberation Army will be reborn! This is not me surrendering, my friends! It's me doing what's best for our cause. Tomura Shigaraki is truly
He looks
free.
so cool.
Fills me with awe, which necessitated my abdication. The Meta-Human Liberation Army and the League of Villains unite under a new name!
Ooh, here we go. Here we go.
League of Liberation?
Myself and
Yeah.
Oh god, no, LOL.
Now, the name please!
Lol.
Tomura Shigaraki!
The Paranormal Liberation.
They can never touch grass or shower ever again.
They're
We
League
got rid of
players.
the term villain. The name's the same as this hand. A decoration. We'll do what we want.
Shigaraki, I like him a lot more now.
Well, I guess it's better than something tacky like the League of Villains.
Dang. Dang, you're really gonna call him out like that?
He's not wrong
Played
though.
your damn game.
I will grant you power. If you're sure that's what you want.
Oh,
I don't think
Okay.
there is no after
So-
credits scene.
it's kind of weird that All For One would engineer him to be like to basically forget his original past, right? But just for him to eventually remember it. Maybe originally it was kind of like he's supposed to just be like kind of the right hand saving the fist of all for one. But since he got captured, he's like, all right, change of plans. You'll be the stand-in leader. And you can't be a leader if you're just basically be willing to hit my commands, which I can't give in a prison.
Well,
I
he
don't.
didn't engineer the memories.
Yeah, and
The memory was a psychological thing.
I came up with a theory before they revealed.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
So it just happened to happen. Oh, okay, never mind. This is probably all part of the grand plan, I guess.
yeah.
And I guess he could. It's like he literally was restricting himself in terms of power and prowess. So I guess it's like, sorry, man, you gotta get back to that before we go on the hard grind, my man.
Yeah, the memory thing was repression on his. Because I came up with a theory, like, do you guys think that All for One suppressed them so, like, Shigaraki doesn't know about his past? But in this episode, it was pretty blatant that Shigaraki was the one who repressed them himself. It's just too traumatic for him. But
Which is very reasonable.
it's very reasonable. It's very reasonable.
Hey,
So Shigaraki
yeah.
unlocked his true power, which has always been ranged. It's a area of effect.
Yeah.
He's getting an upgrade in being tested on to hold multiple quirks, which is what I assumed the Doctor was doing to him in the last batch of episodes
Yep.
that we saw.
Yep.
He got control of the Metahuman Liberation Army, and he has all the Nomus now,
Don't forget Gigantomachia.
and the respect of Gigantomachia.
Yep.
He's his own asset
The
alone.
man single-handedly raised 3 different armies, if you're counting Gigantomachia as an army, and you kind of can, in one day.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's-
okay, himself, his own powers, fully potential unlocked. Is also an army. So that's 4.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
his powers can take out an army, so I'll give. Like, he raised 4 armies in a day.
Yeah.
This is going to be
Yeah.
one hell of a war arc.
He just really overtook Deku.
It's just gonna be one hell of an
I
opponent
don't-
for the Disney front. I'm just kidding. Disney army front.
Deku is now falling behind.
Yeah, Deku's got
Deku,
black.
you need to
Deku
grow
has
up.
black whip. He has black whip.
I got whips. So Deku's like, oh guys, I finally got whips. This man has 33.5 armies.
Yes.
I am literally an army to myself, Deku.
I have armies, and I have black whip.
I've got a job dead. I've got a job dead.
Oh god! And it's probably for the best. He has range attack because I mean, if he did it as well, I mean, I guess he'd just be like, "I'm gonna punch!" You. Oh god! It dies.
Yeah, it's a good thing that Deku can do range too.
Yes.
It's gonna
His range isn't as effective, but
It's gonna be interesting seeing their fight because you're gonna run into the problem of why doesn't Shigaraki just disintegrate Deku? I feel like this is gonna be too big of a problem from here on out.
we'll see. That could be a motive issue.
It could be a motive issue.
Or it could be Deku stays in the air for a lot of it.
That's true. It could be a motive issue, but in that case, I guess his motive would be like he would want the successor of One for All to watch the world burn. So I guess that could be it. But he needs to get that motive first.
Yep. Right now he doesn't care.
Yeah, he just really doesn't care. I respect Shigaraki a little bit more now. I never liked him, but now I still don't like him. But his backstory makes me feel bad for him.
He's way more
But to an
fleshed out
ex-
as a character.
His backstory makes me feel bad for him, and now his present day story makes me respect him.
Mhm. His motive is still really, really simplistic. He literally just wants to watch the world burn. That's it.
But I understand why he wants to watch the world burn now.
Yes. Yes, exactly. He doesn't even want to rebuild anything. He doesn't care. Once he's destroyed the world, that's it. He'll move on.
Like the Metahuman Liberation Army or Front, whatever. It's like it's one of those things like, oh, we're gonna tear down society and then only the strong will rule. Like, yeah, so many people do that. It's just such a weak political front to take. But Shigaraki is just like, I'm gonna destroy everything. I don't care.
What's interesting is, historically though, we're going to burn everything down and the strong shall rule is actually a really historically realistic motive.
But the thing with history and this is like you have different variations of strength in this show where historically we're all human, we just have political strength. You can have major political strength and then Shigaraki just walks into the White House and completely decimates DC.
That is true.
I mean, I was gonna say, usually it's been like plenty of societal collapses around the world, you know, and then from there, the worlds were born from it. You know, it comes back.
Shigaraki does not care if the world comes
this
back.
This is more like that, except a little more, I guess, fatal, and more engineered, manufactured than natural, just things happening, you know, in its own right.
Yeah.
A bit more absolute.
I mean, hell, maybe if it were to concede, like generations down the line, hundreds of years, they might even like, what was Shigaraki? What was this being, this event that kind of wiped out majority of the world?
Because I don't even know. Like, is Shigaraki gonna try and just like? I don't think he wants to leave anyone left. Like, what happens? Like,
I don't think so.
When he destroys the world, what is he gonna do with the League? You know, like, is
let them do their own thing.
I think that'll be his foil that will kind of make him undo, because eventually he feels like he's full of anger and hate, right? And he also wants to destroy everything, right? But if you notice that, it's real quick. But for a moment when the guy was like, "Oh, you could kill me if you want, and the Liberation Army is all yours," he thought for a moment, and the first thing he thought was his league members being like, "Man, if we're working the Mafia guys still, we have to eat some sushi right now." Then he's like, "Hey, you're CEO, right? You got a lot of money."
I'm wondering.
And the thing is that, so initially, he does care about them in some weird, very what's the word, distant way. So I think his foil is going to end up being his undoing. This is a guess, story-wise. Is that essentially he did find new people to care about and such, and maybe that will basically him to realize, you know, really this whole actually destroying everything isn't the way to go. Actually, we have people because it's having care about, like, you're gonna destroy the world, but there'll be no place for the world for if we care about to exist in, you know.
Yeah.
And then you know, maybe like Zuko, he lose majority of his hatred in that moment, and he won't be able to really be as much of a destructive weapon as he used to.
It's an interesting thought, but I guess the only thing that sullies that is that the League also wants to destroy the world too.
Well, they want to destroy, but not as absolutely as like Shigaraki. They want to destroy the world societally. They want to destroy in every literal way, every possible way.
Yeah, Shigaraki,
you know, if he could turn it into Mars or Venus, he'd be happy.
If Shigaraki could touch the Earth's core and disintegrate the Earth, he would probably do that at this point in his life.
Yeah, it's like none of them are going that far from. Like there's a big gap, like not even gap, like it's a fucking canyon. How far the motives in game are, and maybe that moment he's like kind of hesitant, kind of like, you know, maybe this whole destructive thing. Maybe All For One kind of like either sap his energy / like powers or kill him. Be like, well, that was a disappointment. I'll just do the Prince's job, you know. I mean, I think pretty sure All For One doesn't really care about him that much. I think he's just using him as a tool to basically remove all of his opponents and then be the world on the top of the world, you know.
The interesting thing about All For One is that I don't, because, you know, it's All For One, so I don't know to believe him or not. But his body is just so irreversibly damaged. He is dying. So he took Shigaraki in to be his successor, to make sure that there will always be an All For One. And unless he gets his hands. If he gets his hands on Ares' quirk, he can he can Palpatine himself back into his prime.
And then he could just suck back the powers he may or may not have given to Shigaraki. Kill him and then be like, okay, I'm cool now, I don't need him anymore.
Alright.
I'll be the god of this world or something.
My hero, okay, my hero. You put the gun on the mantle.
It would suck because Shigaraki would be like, you know, maybe you're right, but this whole thing, like, oh god, it just dies.
I don't think they're gonna redeem Shigaraki. I think
that's what I'm saying. I think he's gonna die in the moment he started feeling like hesitation and a sense of like wanting to do better, and then he dies, and then it's like, oh shit.
I think the closest thing we'll get to Shigaraki's redemption is just him going, I'm not gonna destroy the whole world because I have friends in it. I'm still gonna destroy all of society, and then like All For One gets his powers back or whatever. He gets his.
And he's like,
back,
that's your weakness, Shigaraki. You still are not in the know. TLDR, die, and I just. Bleh.
That's your weakness, Shigaraki. I have no friends.
I have no friends because I absorbed all of them. Jesus Christ, all for one. That's messed. Oh God, he killed Shigaraki.
Or he
For a
turned
second there, I
Shigaraki into a
honestly thought you
Nomu.
said orbed when you said absorbed.
He
I heard
morbed
him
them
there.
all.
He morphed them all. Imagine his one-liner is gonna be, "It's Morbin time, Deku."
It's Morbin time, Deku. You know,
It's
Micaiah, the mind hears what it wants to hear.
It's Morbin time.
So, I am interested in Shigaraki's development. I hope they do not go down a redemption anything. I don't want anything near that, but I hope that he goes into a path of like, you know, maybe the whole world. Maybe not destroy that. Maybe keep Japan as a country.
I want to see the little bit of humanity that's still there. He couldn't extinguish, but I had to die anyways because that's like just how it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At this point, there isn't enough of a lifetime left in his lifetime to go back to being better. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Vader. You know, like 20 years. It's like at that point, it's kind of like there's not much. It would take so long for him to go back and make things right. He'd be already dead. So at that point, it's like just seeing it, then him dying is enough. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't want him to go, I should not have been a villain. I just want him to go, I'm not going to destroy the world. I'll leave a continent for my friends in the Liberation Army. But the rest of the world, that has to go. And then
Venus, looking like Venus, submissible and terraformable.
I don't mind if All For One kills him, because that would just be like, that's just All For One. That'd be a great twist. But I don't want Shigaraki to go, I'm gonna be a good guy now, or
No, not necessarily that. I don't even think like he want to continue onward. More of just like you kind of see the humanity in him, and then boom, he's dead.
Okay, yeah, see the humanity in him. Yeah.
Again, like Vader, like you see it, then he dies. Like you see at the end of Return of the Jedi.
Vader did turn into a good guy. You know, he. Killed...
I mean, yeah, but he like 5 minutes before he just died.
Well, and then he became a Force ghost, which is like the spirit, like the peak spirituality of a good Jedi. So, it's...
And my point is like, yeah, that part was. My point is like, you know, just have that moment where it's like you were right about me in some ways, and then bleh, dead.
Yeah.
That's all you need, because that's all you need to know. Because that'd just be like, oh damn, and then that's all you need.
I don't think they'll kill off Shigaraki because he's just the perfect foil to Deku at this point.
He really is.
And
they're building him up as a foil too. They're still developing.
I think the big twist will be Shigaraki kills All For One.
Takes his powers.
Well, I don't know if he takes his powers, but like, because Shigaraki's kind of burning the past at this moment. You know, other than because he wore those hands as a symbol of his hatred and all that. He only wears the one because that's his brand now.
Yeah, he accidentally created a brand and he needs to hold on to that.
Just like this hand, our new name is nothing more than a decoration. We can do whatever we want. It's like he doesn't care about the symbolism of the hand. So I think the final point of Shigaraki's character growth of his major villain would be to kill his father figure. It's either going to be All For One's greatest plan, like he's going to go, I was hoping you'd do that, as he turns into chunks, or he's just going to be completely shocked and like this was not part of the plan. It can go either way, but I think that's where we're going to go with it.
Or maybe All For One will be like, you know, just you, me, and the destroyed world. Then he thinks about it for a moment, runs all of his friendly people, and it just thinks, I don't know, man. I don't know, Rick. I have friends. Or he fuck up. He kills him. I don't know, All For One. I mean, I have some friends now. I got some people I care about. Oh God, I care about people. That's your weakness. That's your weakness, Shigaraki. Give your powers now. Oh fuck.
I forgot. Does All For One want to destroy the world, or does he want to rule it?
I'm pretty sure he wants to destroy a majority of it, but still rule it. Like he wants people to rule.
I think yes.
Okay. He wants to be some sort of abomination of powers of like a unholy god of some kind.
Basically, like just make the world smaller so he can control everyone that's in it. All right, I get it.
Or like destroy anyone who would resist it, so like just raise the. An infinite empire over the world or something. I don't know. But I think villainous like that.
All For One is just the reverse Flash of the series. Like everything he does is just out of spite for whoever holds the power of All For One, or One For All.
Well, it's his foil, so I mean,
I
guess in a way, All For One could be, or not One For All could be like the foil to that big bad, while Shigaraki's character is a foil to Deku's character.
Yeah.
So that's why if he does die before all for one. I don't mind it because it's like, well, that plot point is like, sort of like done. Then you got that. Look at the last big bad one,
Yeah, there's a lot of potential where this show can go, and it's all great. There's not a single among us three. There's not a single bad idea that's been thrown out. I think.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think we should probably get the last episode because it's basically just the epilogue. Epilogue, is that the word for epilogue?
Epilogue.
For the season.
Yeah, that's usually the final episode. I do want to actually. I guess I'll. All right. Do you want to talk about your speedball thing now, Micaiah, or?
Oh yeah.
Speedball?
Yeah, he said remind me about speedball, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Do you guys know who Speedball is?
No.
From, Marvel?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You know Secret Wars?
No.
Well, not Secret Wars actually. That was what was that?
It was
what storyline was that?
Speedball?
That was Civil War. Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah. Speedball triggered Civil War. Speedball was a speed-based superhero who kind of went ballistic. And there was a fight that went horribly wrong. He exploded.
No.
And killed a lot of people. And that actually triggered the Civil War comic line. And it was...
Oh, was that, I guess, it was public school or something? He called the nuclear bomb explosion.
Alright, so what actually happened was Speedball...
And he's like, don't worry, guys, oh, fuck! And then y'all die.
So Speedball was part of a team called... shoot, I forgot what the team was. What was that really bad comic that was going to come out that was canceled? The one with Snowflake and Safe Space?
Oh... I don't even remember.
He was part of that team. Yeah, they would flub up a nuclear bomb.
No, he was part of that team before that iteration of the team came out.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, got it.
That's their legacy. Speedball. It's just like a statue of Speedball dropping a nuclear bomb. Like, just this oops.
Speedball was the nuclear bomb with the problem.
I'm pretty sure he was part of that team, but
no. The statue is him shrugging, and it just has one word under it. Oops.
Oops. Did I do that?
Whoops. Ah, darn. Shame.
I think he was part of that team, but
yeah.
Anyways.
So basically, that team wanted to get some publicity, so they were live streaming themselves taking on supervillains, and they found a supervillain hideout. And they're like, and everyone was telling him in the live stream, like, yo, you should wait for the Avengers, because these are actually villains. And they're like, nah, we can take them. So they went in, they got into a huge fight, and one of the villains' powers was literally being a nuclear bomb. And so in this fight, the villain blew him, because he could rebuild himself from blowing up. He doesn't actually die, he just rebuilds himself. So he just blew up the school.
Villain.
And everyone on the team died except for Speedball.
Mm-hmm.
And then he became.
And when
Penance.
when Speedball came back, he became Penance. Penance had the same powers as Speedball, but in order to use them, he had to feel pain. So he built a suit of armor for himself that was constantly stabbing him.
That's why
you can look up his costume design.
So he became Destro.
Yeah, he just became.
Yeah, exactly.
Re-Destro.
Re-Destro.
So that's why you mentioned him.
Yep, that's why I mentioned him.
Oh, but yeah. So literally that group, the underlying for that weird like, what was that team of stuff like? Literally, the emblem could just be Speedball going oops, oops, oops. Whoops.
Yeah, here we go.
Imagine that's the last thing you hear on stream before it cuts out, before the bomb goes off. You just hear whoops.
Man,
Whoopsie.
Penance was in Ultimate Alliance 2, and he had like the coolest suit. Like I just remember, even as a kid, that suit was so cool.
Is it
Penance?
This one? This is gonna copy the link instead of the actual thing. Go figure. This. Wait, did it actually? Yo, it actually copied the picture. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I just remember playing Ultimate Alliance 2 and Penance had the coolest suit. I'm opening it up on my phone right now. Give me a second.
I mean, in a way, he is paying penance, so I mean, not really. But...
Yeah, that was the suit. This suit was so cool, and I had no idea what the context of the suit was.
Yikes. Yeah.
Damn.
I think this is a screenshot from Ultimate Alliance 2. I don't remember if he was a good character or not. Like, I don't remember if he was a good character in
a well-designed, well-written character?
No, a playable character. I don't remember if he was good to play as or not. I think he sucked. But I remember the aesthetic was cool.
Is Spider-Man's web going through that man's skull?
I think it's a game glitch.
I know
That looks
I know
more
it
like a
is,
game
but
glitch.
I like to believe that he killed that man.
I mean, he's working with penance, so might as
Somehow.
well. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, Penance's costume is basically the exact same idea as Re-Destro's. And it totally reminded me of that.
I mean, Re-Destro's a billionaire. Well, no, never mind. I mean, he should just take some college classes if he wants to boost his stress levels.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
right?
mean, there's easier ways. There's easier ways.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
What is this?
Wait, I'm sorry. What? Hang on.
Hanging?
Hanging.
Why does the cat have a Penance costume?
No.
Well, theming.
Your speedball, you bounce with balls. You even have a bouncing cat for Pete's sake. Stop, there's no deal with the bouncing
Pete
cats
had the
going on.
penitent foot.
No, there's...
Oh my gosh!
No!
Oh, you even had a bouncing cat for Pete's sake. Remember
That's
Neil?
so
Stop! There's no
wrong.
the bouncing cat. He's gone. There's only Peacat, the pennant puss. Oh my! Your speedball. You bounce with ball. You even.
It's like you
Remember
bounce
Neil?
with balls for me.
There's no Neil's the bouncing cat. He's gone. Now there's only Peacat, the pennant puss.
That's
Why
wrong.
he looks so sad?
That's so wrong.
Like he doesn't like
It
the
will
costume
be-
being on him.
It's so funny.
Oh my god.
Is it messed up that I find this so freaking hilarious?
It's only funny.
Why
as
does he have a
long as the-
picture of him in his suit? He can
It's
just
only-
pull out any time.
Yes.
It's only funny as long as the cat's not actually getting hurt.
That's
Still,
true.
what is it? He's just wearing a dumb costume. He's not even angry. He's just disappointed in the circumstances.
So wrong.
Peacat's the pennant puss.
It's so funny though. Why does he have that?
Pennant puss.
Why does he have? It's not even a picture on his phone. It's a print.
He has it on him.
Why does he have it on
Wherever
his
In
phone?
his armor. But like, hold up, I'm sorry. He genuinely, he's a really emotionally wrecked character. Like he's constantly hurting himself and constantly cutting himself is like his whole shtick. And then he gives his cat the alliterative Peacat the penitent puss.
The pennant puss.
He's like so dark and serious, and then there's this. I can't take him seriously.
I like to believe the thing the cat's wearing is actually a Bluetooth speaker, so it's just playing catchy songs every time. You actually walks by, this little like jingle bell, you just hear
It's
crawling in my crawl.
Everywhere I go,
It's
I hear
literally
that
just
cat.
blaring emo rock, 21 Pilots, and
Start with one thing.
exactly,
Why?
yeah, exactly,
It's sad just
Exactly.
hearing that all the time. The 24
and
hours.
My Chemical Romance too.
How does he go pee? How does he go to the bathroom in that?
He doesn't.
That's the true pain in it. That's true penance he has to face.
Yeah.
No bathroom?
There aren't any knives,
No
just a
bathroom.
whole lot of crap.
Yeah, you don't want to take that suit off. You don't want to be like going to take off that. You don't want to have that job.
No, you do not. No.
The penance.
Okay, that was the only thing I had left, and it took us to a really funny, weird place.
Yeah.
I just think someone's chasing like I don't know fucking Captain America. He's like, stop it, penance it is you're done. And he's like, not yet. He forgot about my sidekick, the pennant puss, and he just throws his fucking cat at Captain. He's like, what? Ah, get it off! He's all
Oh,
angry
yeah.
because there's a suit on him. He's like, ah, just like, get it off, get it off.
Imagine
The
Captain
suit
America
is
losing
so
to a
heavy and
cat.
so strong, he uses the cat as like a mace and just swings him around.
The cat's fine. It's just he's basically like a fucking.
PETA does not approve this message.
The cat's fine. Don't worry, he has a suit on.
Peter's gonna take this video down.
Oh no. We made an enemy of PETA.
Lads, if I'm a horrible person, tell me in the comments, but like, you find this funny too.
PETA, I think you mean
Oh my
Petants. Just the picture of the PETA headquarters being turned into a penance hideout. Petons. What have you done, What have you done, Speedball? What have you done?
Oh my god. Okay, I think that covers it
You
for
know
the
what?
day.
Final note for this episode, or like actually the last 2 episodes that we've watched. Not knowing Shigaraki's origin, I love that the episode before this is Tenko Shimura, and then this episode is Tomura Shigaraki. Like, not knowing who Shigaraki is, when I saw that title, I'm like, who the heck is this?
Oh, Tenko the first one.
It's his real name.
Shigaraki is what we've been calling him the entire time. The other one, Tenko, was his name as a kid.
It's his real name.
Yeah.
And then, actually, we were just talking about this with Endeavor, how Japanese words have meaning. Bless you.
Yeah! Yes, right? Oh, that was another thing that's worth talking about.
Yeah, we were literally just talking about this with Endeavor, like a few episodes ago. Tomura means to mourn. You will be what makes this world mourn. All for One is one of like the worst villains in the sense of motivation. I love him so much.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
His theme,
Yes.
the way he talks, the way he carries himself.
Dude, his dialogue is so on point. His theme is so recognizable. The way he carries himself, yeah, everyone in the room pays attention. Just because he's in the room, you know things get serious. Like, there's an escalation in tension just because he is there. He is the embodiment of conflict.
Everything in like writing tells me I should not be. This should not be a good villain, but he's such an amazing villain.
Yeah. It's like mediocre ideas at best that are just really well executed.
It's not even mediocre.
He
just wants to rule the world because he's powerful. That's it. He has no other motivation. He's literally like, I'm super strong. I should rule the world. That's my motivation.
Yep.
But he's so cool. Like the way he carries, like the presence he has in the room, and then his music helps so. Like the composer of the show did such a good job making that twisted, classical opera-esque music.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
yes, it's almost Ave Maria-esque.
Almost. And it's
like there's just a hint of it there, just enough of it there for you, like your brain to be triggered, for you to pay attention now.
Neural activation.
Every time it's like
exactly.
What's that? What's the drooling dog experiment?
When a bell.
Pavlov's dog.
Pavlov's dog. It's Pavlov's opera music. Like every time.
Yep.
Pavlov's opera music.
Every time All for One comes, it's just like the composer. All right, crank it to 100. Like.
Yes. And it works. It's crazy effective. Now we hear the music, we know the next shot is going to have him in it. And we're terrified.
Exactly.
Like, we're freaking out, yeah. So, yeah, names have meaning. That was confirmed by him, which is crazy. Which sort of like, oh, okay, cool. Endeavor, Deku, All Might, whatever the heck Bakugo's name is going to be. Like, oh, awesome, cool. Those actually are really important for their characters. And when we learn Bakugo's name, we will learn a lot about his character, too. The other thing was confirmed by Re-Destro, and that's that your quirk is connected to your personality.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to go back and look at. Okay. I want to see if he was talking about a theory or if he was like 100. It's bringing back memory.
That sounded like a pretty absolute statement.
Like,
I don't remember when it was.
I don't know. But yeah, I mean, at the very least, that's his mindset of it. Giving out
yes. Yeah, that's his understanding. Which, if it's his understanding, it's basically the author's understanding. It's basically canon at that point.
I mean, like, I mean, it doesn't have to be the author's understanding, or it doesn't have to be the author like telling you in that sense. That just the author, like, just that's the author telling you that's how he sees it. Like, that's how this character sees it.
Yeah, that's true. But that felt like it was like it had broader implications. Like, we're meant to take it seriously.
Okay, yeah, I found this scene. It's in 655 of last episode.
Okay.
It's a common refrain these days not to judge a person by their quirk. The lesson isn't bad. It's the same thing I was taught growing up. The folly is meta abilities have a direct impact on a personality. Yeah, it is pretty
absolute.
But that is him talking.
Yes, but I think we're meant to take it as pretty absolute.
Yeah. It's. I mean, like it is the nature versus nurture thing.
Yep, it's. So, what was the exact line again?
It's just society has taught us not to judge a person by their quirk. It's a good lesson. Or the lesson isn't bad. The lesson isn't bad, but the folly is that meta abilities have a direct impact on our personality.
Okay. So I was wondering if personality affected quirks or if quirks affected personality. He very, very specifically says quirks affect personality.
Yeah.
Which means you change a person's quirks, you change a part of their personality.
Well, the thing is with the high end Nomu though, they kind of it's not like a direct. The high end no, like for what you said, it doesn't like that completely makes no sense. But like it doesn't really retcon anything in what Destro says, because they were talking about how the high end Nomu sought very powerful opponents, and that his original body was a boxer, a wrestler, who fought
something like that. Prize fighter. Yeah.
He was a prize fighter, and he kept fighting tougher and tougher opponents. So like even though he got however many powers that Nomu had, he still retained that base of his personality.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Okay, so that theory's kaput. But quirks influence personalities. That's still really important.
Yeah. I mean, it's
So,
literally what we were talking about with Toga.
Toga, Bakugo, Deku now. Deku isn't influenced by power because he didn't have any.
Exactly.
Huh. That's a really important detail.
It's that one quote, right? It's like
That's
people
a
don't
really important detail. That's the equivalent of Frodo is stronger, or can resist the ring more than other people because he's a hobbit and he's inherently like small and just like homely and that sort of thing. Deku isn't or doesn't have to succumb to the idea that power makes me better than everyone else because power isn't a part of his personality.
Deku also is proof.
Okay.
Deku's also proof of this that the statement of absolute power corrupts absolutely. He proves that wrong. I wonder if they'll ever bring that into the equation of the show.
I don't know. At least in his very, very specific instance. Again, because he didn't have power. Power isn't a part of who he is. It's something that he uses to express who he is. It's a tool for him. It's something that's attached to him. It's not him. That's the biggest distinction. Everyone else lets the power become a part of them, and usually it is a part of them. Like, if you're born with a quirk, that completely is going to be what defines who you are. In real life, like when you get power, usually, when it goes to your head, it's because you've begun to let it define you, and you've convinced yourself that power makes you more valuable, more important, more whatever, significant. If that's not a part of your identity, well, cool, okay, I have power, but that doesn't mean I am more.
The big question with this, like with his statement here, is if my theory is correct. If All For One gave Shigaraki his powers, because that means Shigaraki wasn't born with power, and then that means that his situation is what ended him being the way he is in the show.
I don't think so. I think he was actually born with that quirk because his quirk is death and destruction, and actually he is a sociopath. He is what's the word I'm looking for?
Crazy? No.
Serial killer.
He's a serial killer. But like the thing is,
he's a serial killer.
He didn't always he wasn't always like that. His father basically beat a lot into him, but he also beat Shigaraki's want to be a hero out of him. And in the flashbacks of him saying like, I was playing with my friends in the park and they said I should be All Might because I was really nice and all that. He's very before his father beats the idea of him, he's a very different kid.
Yeah, that's true. Way closer to Deku.
The inspiration
you
of
could
wanting to be
flip
a
them
hero.
around. Yep.
So
yeah. I don't know. This is a really interesting idea that they're wrestling.
I really
wanna see
do
more of it.
think it's a combination of both. Like your quirk,
Yeah. Hmm.
your quirk has influence, but it doesn't overall have.
It doesn't define.
It's not the defining
but
factor.
it
It does have
influences.
the influence.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think everyone Toga's quirk, the blood sucking thing. I don't think everyone would have been influenced. Like, I want to become a serial killer now. I don't think everyone in the right. It takes a special person to come to that natural conclusion of how they want to use their quirk. I think it was an influential factor on her, but then also Toga is a very broken person herself.
Yeah. Toga is. She still has not overcome her trauma. Twice overcame his.
I
Shigaraki
have.
overcame his.
I have a
Well,
proposal.
kind of. Okay, this is interesting.
Hey, oh god, because like, oh, here comes Anthony, Mister Out of the Woodworks takes Anthony. No, I mean, on nature and nurture. Well, you see, oh god, I'm doing it again. I have to get to put this. I think a common theme amongst all the backstories we got for the main league, Little League people, is that for the most part they endured a lot of, at best neglect, and at worst absolute rejection and, what's the word? Society, pressures and. What's the rejection? Shame, even.
Yeah.
Like more of just like disgust and regret, and then rejection. And I think, I mean, traits can be allegory for like one's own traits and natural like things are just naturally attuned to. Like some people have natural kick for math, or missing out with gadgets and pieces and stuff, etc., right? Or the arts, drawing. Or even just like personality traits, just traits, just more of like pushes and pulls in them naturally, And for all of them, in a lot of ways, whether because of their quirk or just because it's how they are, they were neglected, rejected, pushed down, and essentially because of their initial traits that they initially kind of were obviously especially young, or even just just life kind of gravitated towards, And I think from kind of like a few episodes back, when he's talking about how Toga was saying, "Oh, it's only natural to want to like bite someone in the neck and suck up their jugular," right? He's like, "That's like not natural does not always mean good or the right thing. I mean, the technical correct thing you want to look at it as like a sort of nature thing, not the right thing,
Right. Right.
And I think that's kind of true, because it's like obviously some people have initial traits to do certain things with certain inclinations. Though I think it also shows necessarily that these traits should be fully embraced completely, because some of them could be, especially after years of meddling and being brewing,
manipulative.
Being brewed with calluses, jadedness, and even hatred and all of that. It can end up making you more into a what's the word? A bad person, basically, where you do bad things. Where essentially, where initial pulls turn into thoughts, and those thoughts turn into, cravings and sort of like impulses into actions that can never be undone. And a continuing cycle of that. And it's like, and I think the lesson, if we're to look at any lesson or any sort of message in this, is like it's not necessarily to outright reject and push down on traits that are unfavorable in someone, or at least like they're initially explaining to do unfavorable bad things, and that's immediately just merely suppressing it, just like pretending is that they're just being like, oh, just don't be this instead, isn't the way, And I think it's even like what the whole like hero quirk things are for, It's like essentially instead of them, like special traits kind of slowly degrade them into a worse and worse person, they embrace them in ways that make them a better person. You know what I mean?
I was actually gonna bring up one of the points you said about repression with Toga. You can keep going.
Because essentially, instead of like, either forcefully against it, not pushing into it, and then eventually kind of like in its place comes, calluses and jadis and all that, like I said before. they're almost embraced in the sense of like not necessarily just saying, oh yeah, just accept it as it is, but working with it to be for the general better of the person, you know. Rather than just like flat out neutrally accepting it or like anything. It's like, yeah, some initially aren't that great, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. You work on it, you build on it, you know. You work with it rather than against it, you know.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it can even become something that's actually a positive effect on someone's life, you know. And even if it's mostly negative, it can still be, even as a part of them, it can still be used as a good thing, you know. Because it's like you've got to work with it rather than against it.
Actually, Toga,
You know?
Toga and Lemillion work as perfect examples for that, in the sense of a quirk that doesn't work too well, and you work with it, and then in the sense of repression. Like Lemillion's quirk sucks. He cannot see when he goes transparent. He cannot see, breathe, or hear anything. He just has a direction that he's going, and that is usually down. He has to calculate literally everything in his head before he jumps back up, because he doesn't know where he's gonna end up going. He can't see anything. He can't really change anything until he pops back up and becomes visible again, or becomes tangible again. But he worked with that quirk, and he mastered it, and it's one of the most OP quirks within the show until it got snapped. With Toga's, it is... I'm not going to blame the parents 100%, but the parents do have a lot of blame within it, because when she started sucking on that bird, her mom's first reaction was, that's not normal, don't ever do that again. It wasn't, let's figure out what your quirk is. It was, fit into society. You're a freak, basically. And she was probably told that throughout her life. Like, everyone else, like Bakugo's quirk, that was, everyone was, oh, you're so cool, you're so amazing, you have such a great quirk. And probably a majority of other people have some great quirks. Toga's quirk is sucking the blood out of someone to become them. Now, you can't really do that in show and tell.
Not exactly.
Throughout her formulative years as a child and teenager, she's probably just been sitting in the back of the room, trying her best to act as quirkless as possible. But in the back of her mind, she's thinking, I have a quirk. Everyone else is allowed to use theirs. Why aren't I allowed? And because of how badly her parents treated her quirk's awakening, it just repressed until she literally just could not hold back anymore. And then she became a serial killer.
Yeah, and and it's kind of interesting because it's kind of like, you know, this focusing on bettering itself. You know, it's like it's kind of interesting in how they kind of play out. You know,
the origins of all of them and how like
and he said how like because I mean, in all honesty, I think there's even like a not sure if it's a fan or official like what if comic line of like, you know, Deku's foil to Shigaraki, but like he could have easily gone down that route too if like the feelings boiled down to it, you know. Even like of course there are allegories for like one's own natural traits, you know.
I really don't like the theory because there yeah, you're right. There is it's not a fan book. It's just like a lot of fan art of like, what if Deku didn't get One for All and he became a villain? And I'm like, that's just not Deku. I guess maybe if
that's not how that would happen.
Maybe if All for One found him, but he has no reason to find him.
No, none whatsoever.
Essentially, it's kind of like skipping a lot of points I could bring up. But I want to be here for an hour-long discussion about the human psyche.
Oh, don't worry, we're already an hour in.
Anyways, my point is like I think the discussion is not necessarily of nature or nurture. I think it's nature and nurture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Because I mean,
yeah.
I mean, everyone says it can be anyone and everything, and it's like that's technically true in the sense of like if you don't know who and what you are and who you can become. But I do believe in the sense of like, who you become. That's like predetermined. It's more like,
There's
there's actually
paths that are easy for you to go down, and there are paths that are harder for you to go down.
Essentially, the nature part is essentially what possibilities you could become, and the nurture part is basically the sort of like, if I had to describe it in terms of very simple terms and also in video game terms because the show apparently is making terms. It's kind of like EXP in certain avenues or stats, or even like in games where it's like, oh, you do good action or bad action.
This action will
you know,
have consequences.
Yeah.
and like the ultimate end, I guess, would be like you finish the game, quote unquote, with those stats basically determine where you become that person. You know.
We have the perfect example of it being nature versus nurture. Like Endeavor has a fire quirk, a quirk that can literally disintegrate people into ash. Decided to become a hero. Dobby has a fire quirk, a quirk that can disintegrate people into ash, and was raised potentially, with our theory, by Endeavor. That led him down. That led him down a very different path. So like.
Yep.
And it's like not even. I think a good way to look at it is also like it's those people you can become, the persons you become. You know, aren't necessarily they sort of you morph into per se. They're always there. If I describe it, you know, nature is basically the character slots that can be become that ones are already there that can be filled up in. I guess, and then nurture is basically the choices and experiences that will decide which one, you know, will be the dominant and be the one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then another parallel of nature versus nurture. Oh, I don't know if this is nature.
Again, I'm pretty sure it's nature and nurture.
It is it definitely is nature and nurture because another parallel that we have is the lizard. Finally, we're talking about the lizard. Oh my God, he actually comes up in the discussion. He was rejected by society because he is a lizard. You know, like, you're a freak, you know, you have a lizard head. So he decided to take that, became a shut-in, and only was inspired by Stain because Stain wanted to, Stain saw a fundamental flaw within society's views. Tokiyami has a bird for a head. And he's in class 1A. So it depends on your viewpoint about it all. The lizard was faced with that conflict and decided to become a shut-in. Tokiyami, granted we don't know what his conflict was when he was growing up, but he did end up getting a bird for a head. And he decided to become a hero with that.
I'm wondering, did he develop a bird for a head, or was he born that way?
It depends on his parents. Because if...
Interesting.
Actually, shoot, dang it, I don't know. Because Koda... The guy that can talk to animals, his parents look exactly like him. So genetically, he ended up looking like them. I don't know if his parents can talk to animals, but he developed that quirk. So if Tokiyami's parents looked like birds, then he would have come out as a baby looking like a bird. But if they didn't look like birds, he would have woken up one day with a bird head, which is highly unfortunate.
That really is. That'd be really sucky if that happened on class picture day.
Oh man, you thought puberty was bad.
Or, you know what would be even worse is he gets his picture taken for like his ID, and then the next day the birthday happens.
You know,
And
it's a good thing these quirks develop at
is
5.
Yeah.
No, if the quirks develop at 5, then instead of an ID, his parents sign him up for a passport, and then the next day...
Oh, Erded, can you verify that this is you?
No. Bro.
Hang on. You know what? I don't think I believe you.
Tokiyami just looking at the camera. Bro.
Okay, I got it now. Perfect allegory. Okay. Nature and nurture. Okay. Basically, the nature part is basically those character people you can become. Is basically, I mean, in all honesty, it can be defined, and what it could be, it depends on the person. Obviously, it's nature. But I gotta describe it. It's like if nurture's all personal experiences that you kind of gather up, and the choices you make also are gather up. I guess what you become is essentially from those experiences is the kind of your nature's least path of least resistance of where it would be. That's a very abstract way to describe it. Oh man, you guys get what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I will do MS Paint to draw it up. I think I'm gonna
No.
I'm not going to do that.
No, that's gonna make things worse.
But
That's fine.
You know what we can do? we can go into the next episode. We can finish the series.
Yay! There we go.
Whoa, whoa, it's alright, everything will be alright. Whoa, whoa, it's alright.